So using these dies in the die set, these two here, they're your mats and layers for your largest area. I've cut the smaller one in white, and then I've cut 4 of the larger one in the holographic. And I just want to do a little bit of masking and stamp my sentiment as well. So I'm using the Sewing, Paper Crafting and More sentiment set, and then the Sewing and More icons stamp set. You get the dies in there as well, but I'm not going to be using the dies for these cards, but I'll be using them on lots of future cards that I make. So it's going to be a thank you card. So I've got the thanks so much already laid down. So I'm going to stamp that one first of all. Okay, so that's going to go on the front, probably the left-hand side with the matte layer. And then I want to do a little bit of masking on this one. So what I've done is I've just got this masking sheet. I've had it for years. It's just low tack, washi strips basically. And I've just stamped the little bobbin image. And then when you do the masking technique, you want to cut the image right up to the outline. Place that over there. You don't need to worry about the real thin details because you don't need to cut those. So I'm going to have that one, and then let's see, I think I'm going to have, maybe that would look quite good. Let's stamp, I'm going to stamp that one next, or maybe I'll stamp the little chalk, the scissors actually. Let's stamp the scissors first because they're quite big. No, I'm going to stamp the chalk down here. So let's just drop that one about there. So what the first one you lay down will be at the very front, and then as you stamp more and more, they will be set back behind that. So the corner, the left corner of this chalk will be behind the bobbin. But now I want to have things behind the chalk and the bobbin. So again, I've stamped the little chalk here. Just take the backing off, and you can reuse these. You can stick these onto your backing sheet of your stamp set, and you'll certainly be able to use them for, you know, a few more times. They will eventually just lose their stick. So that one now can go over the top, and then I'm going to have the scissors. And it all looks a bit messy and a bit crazy as you're doing this. It's not until you peel it off and have the reveal that you get to see how cool it all looks. Happy with that one. And then I think I'm going to have to stamp the scissors because I haven't actually stamped those ones yet. So I'll just quickly show you actually what you do. So I'm just going to cut a little piece off. You can buy proper masking sheets, or you can use Post-it note. You can use very thin sheet of, you know, copy paper, and just kind of place it down. So I just want to stamp. I thought I did cut the scissors. Okay, I'm having a moment because I thought I did cut the scissors, and I have, it's here. But all you would do is just stamp that down and then cut it out. Okay, so at least I've just kind of shown you there. I thought I did that. So now I'm just going to, again, take the backing off of this one. Okay, just carefully place that down. Happy with that. And then I want to stamp this one. So that's going to go about there. So you'll see all of the little pins and everything. That should look quite nice. The image that will be set back behind all of the other images. Okay, I think that looks good. And then I'm going to stamp a little button, but this one I'm going to have just on its own up there. I like to then use some tweezers and just carefully take off each one at a time, and that way you'll be able to save them because it might tear. So just be careful. So there's our scissors. See, now we've got this nice little cluster of those sewing icons, but they're all layered up on top of each other. So I'm going to have that one next to the sentiment on the front of the card. And then I want to have one inside, but it will be blank. So I've got my space for my message. And then the other one, I'm going to do another little cluster of images. So all of the ones I've used are on the left. Keep those masks all together. So I think with this one, I might do something with the tape measure because that one looks quite good. So I think I'll lay that down. Mind you, I don't really want that in the front. Let's do something with the little threads here. You want to kind of roughly plan it out. Maybe I'll have, yeah, let's do the yarn on the front, because that's a nice big image. Okay, happy with that. Then I'm going to stamp that again onto the masking sheet and cut it out. I'm just going to sit it over the top of that so I know, and that way I don't have to move it off the platform. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this one out. Okay, so I just peeled that one off. Just carefully. Then I'm going to add, I think maybe this one here and that one there. So they will sit just behind the ball of yarn. And I might have the little safety pin going across the top there. And again, I might have another button down here, but I'm going to be lazy and just show you a quick little cheat way that you can also do it. So because I only want the button, it's just going to touch a little bit of that image there. You just take the image, just going to stamp that onto that little piece there. So it's just this side here, so I'm just going to cut just along that one side. Also, if it's just like a straight edge, just use just the edge of the paper and just lay it down. You can also use masking liquid. I do have that and I have used it before. I think, again, I've got a video of that. So it's just finding, you know, what you... I would say that's probably better for bigger images. And basically you paint that on, and then once it's dried, it's like a gum. It just dries and then you just kind of peel it or rub it off. So this time I've just done, you know, that side there. So you just make sure your ink is dry when you're doing this each time. I think that'll be fine. So I can just place the button down there. Now time for the reveal. So I'll keep that piece. Just try and do them in the order that you stuck them down. I've actually only got the two on here anyway. There we go. So you can see again, we've got the yarn right in the front and we've got the threads there just behind, the buttons set back again, and the safety pin just behind as well. So now I'm going to get those all coloured in. Okay, so I've coloured my images in. I'm going to add some of my accent glaze onto them once the card's put together. And I've stuck them all onto the matte layers as well. I've also cut in your die set, you get your stand. So I've just cut this one here. You get your line that will score down through the middle. I just go over it in my scoreboard and then just fold that in half. Make sure you get a nice point on the top there. So you can pop that into the envelope, fold it in half or flat. It's entirely up to you. Also then in the die set you get your main plate. So this will, well, both of them will go through a standard die machine. So just pass that plate through and it will cut this piece out here. I've cut it using a 300 GSM cardstock. And again, I just like to go over the score lines using my scoreboard. And then you want to start folding them all. So first of all, you want to fold these ones out. Like so. You see that all folds down, and then if you fold them away from you, and again this one, and then back around, and then back up. Okay, and now you'll see you've got your never-ending card. So just keep going around and around and around as many times as you want, and then it will display really nicely in the stand there. Okay, so a few little tips when you decorate it. So I'm going to have my sentiment on this one here, and I'm going to have, I think, that image. So I'm going to stick them down first. I'm going to go through every step with you. So I've explained those dies, the main plate and the stand. You also then get these dies here, so your mats and layers, which will cover these sections. I'm not using the layer, I'm just using the larger mat, and I think I'm going to have, I just cut a few of the different colours. So this is all using the papers from the Crafty Patterns pack. And I was just going to have a mix of the colours that I've used to colour in the images. So yellow, or maybe I'll have the pink inside, and I might have, what did I do here? Yeah, maybe I'll do that on the front. So we got a bit of all the colours to match the image there. So that's the front done. Then I'm going to fold these round, and this is going to be my space. So I'm going to have my message on that side, and then I'm going to have this image on this side. Okay, and then we'll fold those down. And now when you open it up, I think I'm going to have the sentiment, enjoy for a while and then recycle me. And I'm going to stamp that one onto there. And then I think I'll have the pink and then the blue, and then I'll cut some of the yellow. I think I can get them out of that piece there actually. So I'll stick the paper down in a minute. I'm going to pop this in my platform. Quite a lot of dimension with the card folded. Just make sure you've got no ink or anything on your plate, because it will go onto your card otherwise, because it's going to touch that. So again, just be careful when you add your ink. Make sure it just goes on the stamp and not on your plastic. I think I've just gone slightly off. Oh no, I'm okay. I thought it had just moved slightly onto the score line there, but I've just got away with that. There we go. Enjoy for a little and then recycle me. Okay, I'm going to stick those other layers down. Okay, and then open it back up and you're back to the beginning. Now you want to stick everything down as you're folding the card, okay? And that way everything's the right way up. If you just decorate the front and then flip it over, if you were to stamp that the right way up, it would be upside down when they move the card around. So you'll see it's upside down when you turn it over. That means you've done it correctly. So again, pop it on there. It's a really nice, fun, alternative card idea. I just bring it up, you can see how that looks displayed, and then that can go flat in the card, behind the card, and then in your envelope, or you can fold it in half and pop it in that way as well. So thank you for watching today. All of the products that I've used today you'll be able to find over on the Craft Stash website just by clicking here, and if you're looking for some more inspiration, check out this video next.